Imagine losing both parents and your grandfather as a child because of the greed of your other family members. With nothing but revenge on your mind, you wander around aimlessly until you get an opportunity to be part of something big. Something that can give you wealth, something that can give you power, and above all, something that can get you revenge. The story begins as we see a ship sinking in the Gulf of Aden. A kid named Taeha, with the age of 7 years, is seen drowning in the sea as he calls out to his mom and dad. Taeha sees his mom's dead body as he gets scared. Thunder strikes as the sea waves roar at him. He is swallowed by it as he sinks deeper and deeper. He sees the dead bodies of his father's bodyguard and workers. A hand suddenly pulls him to the surface as it turns out to be his grandfather. His grandfather, named Jin, tells Taeha that his mom and dad were shot dead before the ship sunk. He then gives a pen to Taeha to give to his trusted lawyer named Kim. He gives his life jacket to Taeha after he tells him not to trust anyone. Lightning continues to strike as the sea engulfs Jin away. In the afternoon, we see Taeha on the surface of the sea as an Italian ship passes by. The men in the ship gets Taeha on board as they call their captain. Their captain, who is a female, jumps and lands in front of them. Taeha sees a tattoo on their necks as he realizes that they are the Italian Mafia. It turns out that Taeha could speak various languages, including Italian. He tells his situation to the captain, but she pulls out her dagger instead. He then says that he from the Cheongu group as he gives the pen to the captain, telling her to call Lawyer Kim. The captain calls Lawyer Kim as he is seen partying. He tells the captain to kill Taeha and receive $1 million. We see Taeha as he is scared that the only person he is supposed to trust is told to kill him. Just then, mercenaries sent by the Cheongu group sends 3 speedboats and 1 armed helicopter. Taeha takes the pen given to him by his grandfather and uses it to cut himself. He draws the Italian family's tattoo on his hand as he swears loyalty to the group. The captain grins as she tells her men to get ready for the festival. 17 years later, we see Taeha back in Korea as he pays his respects to his parents' graves. Just then, we see bullets flying into the graveyard as he takes cover. The shooter come out of their cars. There are 6 bodyguards with 1 chief bodyguard with them that have come to rescue the manager they are supposed to protect. An explosion occurs as the bodyguards are startled. Just then, 3 heads of the bodyguards fly into the sky. The chief turns around to seize his men as the other 3 heads also fly midair. It turns out that the chief was saved by his stab-proof vest. The chief attacks Taeha as Taeha counters by cutting him into 2. Taeha takes a sum of $1 million as he opens a car trunk. We see Lawyer Kim as the one kidnapped by Taeha. Lawyer Kim remembers the time he asked to kill young Taeha as the money is being poured on him. Taeha lights the money on fire as Lawyer Kim is burnt to death. Taeha uses the fire to light his cigarette as he leaves to his next destination. We see Taeha with a mask on his face. He runs towards 2 armed men as he cuts their heads off. He sees the owner of the place as he ignores him. He enters a building and sets 3 kidnapped people free. Once a while, the Cheongu group would have an emergency family meeting. Taeha asks the owner of the place about the date and time the meeting will be held. The man refuses to tell as Taeha is seen pleased that he about to torture the man, starting with his eyes. He is seen walking in the city. He gets to a shop as he and another man asks for the same cigarette. It turns out that the cigarette is left with just 1 pack. Taeha gives up the cigarette and waits outside. He asks for 1 stick from the man, and the man gives it to him. Taeha thinks to himself that the man he just met was strong based off his experiences. The man turned out to be working for the son of the Cheongu group, Taeha's cousin. We see the man at the place Taeha released the kidnappers. He goozes that they were killed by a sashimi knife. He remembers the scars he saw on Taeha's hands as he begins to suspect. He calls Taeha's cousin and asks him to increase the security. The man is seen walking in an alleyway as he senses Taeha. Taeha sees him and asks who he was. The man refuses to say anything as Taeha brings out his knives. The man attacks with a baton as Taeha blocks. They clash their weapons as the man attacks from above. Taeha cuts the man's baton into pieces as Taeha vanishes from sight. Taeha appears from the top as he strikes the man to the ground. He spares the man's life as he isn't part of the Cheongu group, but just a hired gangster. Taeha sits in a car as it seems he got a cut, not too deep from the fight. He reminisces about the past when his father stood in front of the assassins to kill them. One assassin spoke Korean, so Taeha remembers the person's voice. His mother managed to run with him before turning back to divert the assassin's attention from Taeha. The family meeting seems to be going on well as the head of the family sits at the table. He smashes his son's named Gudo's face with a wine glass. Gudo smiles as his father smashes his face with a wine bottle. We see Gudo who smiles while wiping his face. It turns out that he is expecting the arrival of Taeha. He drives his car at top speed to hit the barricades protecting the house. The impact throws him forward as he uses the force of the throw to slice the 3 guards into pieces. The bodyguards of the family side with Gudo as they turn their guns towards the family. Here, Gudo reveals that he was the one that killed Taeha and his family on the ship. The guards shoot the family down as Gudo prepares for Taeha's attack. Taeha runs in a zigzag manner, cutting through his opponents. He throws a knife at a guard as one chief guard carries it away. 3 chief guards are seen preparing to take Taeha on. The one with the low haircut throws a punch, which Taeha hardly blocks. The guard does a jump attack as he is cut into 2. The first attacker's neck is twisted with a kick as the other's head is taken off with a slice. Taeha goes into the room and sees the dead bodies of his family. A female bodyguard who betrayed one of the family members comes and asks Gudo that it was time to leave. Taeha recognized the voice as the person who shot his father in the ship. He realizes that Gudo was the one that killed his family as he gets angry. He tries to attack as a bodyguard named Hwang shoots Taeha. Taeha cuts through the bullet as is attacked with a back kick from the right by another bodyguard named Park. Taeha runs for cover as Park attacks with a straight kick. Taeha dodges as another bodyguard named Moon attacks with a sword from Taeha's back. Taeha escapes the attack with his footwork as we are shown his past 4 years ago. Taeha was sent to kill some betrayers of the Italian Mafia family. He kills one of them in the most horrifying way by crucifixion. Back to the present. Park throws a punch at Taeha. Park suddenly vomits blood as he falls to the ground. Moon tries to attack as he is cut in his left eye. Gudo escapes as Beck. The captain of the bodyguard stands in front of Taeha. Taeha jumps into midair with his 2 knives. Beck uses his fingers to catch the knives before he punches Taeha, causing his ribs to break. He knee kicks Taeha in the stomach as Taeha rolls backwards. We see Gudo standing at the door of the helicopter in the sky. He detonates the bomb as we see Taeha flying through the fire. He stabs Gudo in the calf as Gudo screams in pain. Gudo shoots Taeha down and the chopper goes away. Taeha bounces on the house window and onto a car and finally falls in the river. An information broker Taeha saved from kidnapping sees him as he plans to save Taeha. It seems that the broker was following Taeha's movements after he was saved to get revenge on the Cheongu group. He takes Taeha to his auntie to heal Taeha. After some days, we see Taeha awake as the broker introduces himself as Gray. Taeha asks Gray to find a person for him as Gray responds saying that he wants a favor first. Taeha leaves as he meets Gray's aunt. Taeha thanks Gray's aunt as he leaves. Taeha gets a call from a phone in his pocket as Gray talks from the other side. Gray also attached a camera on Taeha's button. Taeha changes his clothes, but he has difficulties in walking. He has a broken arm and 3 broken ribs. He even has a cracked bone on top of his foot. It turns out that his information was sold to Gudo by his own friend, who is also a broker. Taeha meets up with his friend as Gray. His friend calls men with weapons to the place as Taeha reveals himself. He stabs his friend in the neck when he tries to shoot him. Taeha reveals himself to the armed men, telling them to pray to God for they will be joining him soon. The first person attacks with a bat as Taeha dodges the attack and stabs the back of attacker's neck. Another attacks with a baton as Taeha slashes the attacker from the trap muscles downward. Another attacker tries to stab with a knife as Taeha uses his pop holder to lock the opponent's attacking hand and knocks his throat with his elbow. Taeha speeds up as he takes out the remaining attackers. Gray joins Taeha and sits by him. Taeha uses his knife to stab a spot beside Gray's hands. It seems that Gray knows that Taeha is an Italian mafia based on the tattoo on his hand. They agree to work together to kill Goodo and get their revenge.
Like and subscribe to the channel to get the next part of this video.